like you.
Hello everybody. The name of this one is Monart or Monart, I don't know. I've never seen it written down. This is about Monart. What is Monart? Monart is a hotel spa place in the middle of rural Wexford, close to Enniscorthy, I guess. It's not really my kind of thing, to be honest, but we got a gift card from Andrea's brother, Andrea, my wife, her brother, and we had to do something before it ran out. Now, before I get into this, I have to make it absolutely clear that this is not an objective review, okay? So don't think of this as this is just me talking about something. It's not me expecting any real-world consequences. That's my whole life, just saying things and not expecting any real-world consequences. This is an impressionist account of how I felt and what happened. Deeply impressionist. I should also point out that what I'm going to talk about here was not my wife's experience at all, and she thought the place was amazing and relaxing and so on. The reason I'm saying that is it's going to be like it's the difference between Hamlet and Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, right? Our experiences will intersect, obviously, at some point, but basically hers was completely different. Here we go. Monart describes itself on the piece of paper I have in my hand as a 5-star destination spa. So I don't know why anywhere would call itself a destination anything. The Step House in Boris calls itself a destination wedding hotel. But like surely anywhere you're going is a destination. Surely that's what the word means. No? Too many words. Too many words. On the way through, going, I suppose, past Enniscorthy, we saw a sign that said fresh strawberries for sale and an arrow pointing into a farm. That's too many words. You don't need to say fresh strawberries for sale. Because unless you're giving them away, you don't need to say they're for sale, and no one's giving anything away in this. You go, not in this economy. And clearly they're fresh because no one's going to buy rotten strawberries off you. So just say strawberries, put an arrow, we'll work out the rest. Okay? Too many words already makes me feel that I'm signing up for a marketing exercise rather than a product/service. Anyway, the car park is alarmingly far away from the reception. So we park and we dragged our cases up to the front door, where we're greeted by a happy guy. This guy seemed happy, called Marius. And, I guess I'm used to a certain level of, I don't know, what would you call it? The first time I went to America, I stayed for a week in Arkansas, but that was pretty much, I stayed indoors the whole time, and it was snowing, and we didn't go out much. And then I spent a week in Houston in Texas, and Houston, Texas is warmer than the mountains, and we went out all the time. And we went out to a restaurant, and the girl, the waitress in the restaurant, see, I hadn't come across any of this before. The girl in the restaurant was like really happy and chirpy, and I was like, what the hell is her problem? Like, is she on medication? Not yet. So I said, lady, you need to calm down a bit, you know? And then the girl I was with said, no, they're all like that. All these waitresses are really happy all the time. This is something you have to figure out about America. They're all chirpy and happy, like, because they do that for tips. Not that, I mean, you know, that's just the way it is. I'm not making a value judgment. I did make a value judgment when I ordered tea, and she came out with this jug full, like pints of tea with ice and lemon in it. That made me very judgmental. But she was very happy. So I'm always deeply suspicious of people who are happy for no reason. I mean, alright if something's making you happy, but if you're just happy, I'm like, are you not paying attention to anything that's going on around you? Are you that dense? So we went up to the thing, and there was a guy there called Marius, and he was very happy. And he seemed surprised. He said we could just drive up to the front and he'd park the car and he'd get our bags. That's how they roll there. So that I guess would have been cut 5 minutes off our day, but whatever. He told us to leave our cases just there in the hall, and I'm not used to leaving anything in any hall, but he said just leave them there, so I did. The entrance, by the way, to this place, Monart, is a big kind of Protestant house. You know those old big houses? It's one of them with the, what do you call the Palladian, I don't know what you call it. I can't think of the name for it. I think it's Palladian windows. They're all kind of in rows, rectangular rows. There's a word for it, the architectural thing. I can't think of it. The entrance is through one of those old Protestant big houses, you know. So this 19th century building or whatever, and then there's a little glass tunnel at the back to like a super modern place. And the design of the modern place is lovely. It's all wood effect. It's like the woods is right behind it, and it's like they've taken the design guy obviously said we're going to bring the inside or the outside. I'm going to bring it in, and there's all tree-like stuff inside, and it's curvy. Everything's curved. There's not a sharp corner anywhere. Everything's circles and curves. Now, the glass tunnel leads to the reception place. I didn't realise this, by the way, at the time. It just looks it's seamless. I've been to a lot of hotels in my time, you know. I know what a check-in process is. Now, this was completely different to anything I've ever done before. I didn't even know I was checking in. Like everyone, for a start, everyone seems to get their own personal guide to the place when they walk in, but I thought we were just having a chat about the facilities and so on. Like the entire check-in process just sort of happened around me. I don't remember signing anything, but I must have, because that's part of any sign-in process. You have to sign in, right? Andrea was already relaxing, and I was already feeling uneasy. She led us down the hall to our room, and our bags were already there. But I don't remember seeing anyone pass us with our bags unless they went around some little back door. There is no little back door, so that's what must have happened. Someone went straight past me with my own bags, and I didn't notice. And on the way down to the room, I saw little ducks outside the window, you know. And I was all like, oh, little ducks, I love ducks. You know, I like ducks, whatever. And the girl, our own little personal guide there, she was called Emma. She goes and tells me even more adorable ducks on the other side of the pond. So I might have gone into a whole bit about the ducks, I don't remember, but I do remember that she was laughing and she said this is the most fun she had all day. So she's untrustworthy. The whole process so far is untrustworthy, right? Everything in this place is designed to help you relax and forget about thinking. To forget about stressing about stuff, you know? In other words, to stop you thinking. Like it's not their fault, you know? I mean, it's not their fault that I can't stop thinking. And anything to do with relaxation drives me crazy. I can't meditate. Anytime I've tried, it's driven me into a homicidal rage where I just wanted to kill everything. I can't meditate, or I don't know what it is. It just makes me crazy. I don't know why, and I don't care. You know, I just stay away from meditation and any other relaxation technique, and I utterly trash anybody who tries to sell it to me. I just trash them, you know, because I have a personal experience that renders everything they have to say moot. And by moot, I mean wrong, not debatable. So I'm okay trashing people who are definitely wrong about whatever they're talking about, you know. So I just, I can't relax. So I just stay at this 100% intensity level all day and all night, and then I'm fine, right? As long as I can stay constantly awake and constantly alert and constantly in panic mode, I'm fine. Like the only time I've ever been completely relaxed and totally at peace was when I was flying to America one time, and the engine stopped and all the lights went out and the plane just dropped out of the sky, which sent all our stomachs into the roof. That's what happens when a plane drops. You can't see out the window because everything's black. You only know because your stomach is hitting the roof. But everything was dark inside the airplane. You couldn't see anything. And the engines are a dull thrum that just stopped. Blackness, drop. Of course, everybody was screaming. There was a lot of panic. A flight attendant came out to tell us everything was going to be okay, but man, she looked worried. She had a worried look. She was not happy. And she could barely stand up with the way the plane was dropping and rolling around, you know. It was fun. And for the first time in my life, I was totally calm. I don't know why. I don't know why the idea of impending doom or a fiery death calms me down. I don't know why. And it doesn't matter to me why. All I know is it works. It's the exact opposite of meditation, in other words. So now I can only, like if I need to calm down now, I can only simulate that level of panic and imminent threat to my life. Sometimes I try to picture driving a car into a tree at like 120 miles an hour, and that calms me down a bit. Or jumping off a cliff, or trying to, you know the scene in Lost, the TV show, there's the first scene as the plane breaks up. I try to remember that, you know. You're not going to care about how this ended, but the lights came on and everything was fine, you know. Just like the flight attendant unconvincingly promised, everything was fine. I think even if the lights go off and even if the engines stop, I think the plane is organized, like structure-wise, to be able to land even without any engines. Like the lift is created by the shape of the wing, not by the engine. Engines just give you force forward with the actual lift, so you could probably just glide down somewhere if you had to. Like, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But I was totally fine. Yeah. So we're in this place, Monart, specifically designed to relax people and make them forget about their earthly cares and concentrate on calming the hell down, and I'm already feeling agitated, you know? There's a piece of paper in the bedroom. It says you shouldn't use your. They discourage mobile phone use, you know. And of course, so naturally, mine stays on the whole time. And there's no Wi-Fi, right? And they think this is going to calm people down, removing these things. Um, Now, as someone like me, I see myself as less of a human being, more of a collection of ideas. Which I don't know if you ever saw a show called Nathan Barley, but they made a great joke once about just that sort of person that I am. They were mocking that kind of idea, and the Nathan Barley character is just this guy who thinks he's the shit, and he's not. He's just a shit. But he called himself a self-facilitating media node, and I realized that's like the idea is that it's pretentious and stupid. Well, that's how I feel. So if you want to think that's pretentious and stupid, please feel free to do so. But I see myself as more of a collection of ideas, piloting a meat sack, than a human being. Like, I'm not into people telling me I shouldn't connect to the outside world because it might interfere with their psychological tricks. I'm already seeing these things, by the way. I'm already seeing whatever they do as psychological tricks at this stage, and that was just in the bedroom door. And in case anyone thinks that's just a problem with technology they have, they also banned any newspapers from the centre, the modern part of the centre, which is pretty much all of it. The only front bit is the Protestant-looking place. You can have newspapers there. But in the rest of the place, no. They not only don't want you reading any news, but they don't want other people to know that someone is reading the news. Right? So in Monart, there is no news. On the order form, I asked for a tray of canapes and truffles to be there when I arrived. Because I'm fancy or whatever, I don't know. I thought Andrea would want something to eat when she got there, you know. And they didn't have ham sandwiches, right? It's not that kind of a place. What they had was canapes and truffles. So out of that, and there it was, and they were lovely. They were delightful. When I looked at it, I was like, they haven't given us enough. They were just like a few little things here and a few little things there. But actually, it turns out they judged the portion sizes perfectly. It was just the right amount of food. And all the food we had was absolutely lovely when we were there. It was just perfect. Like, even now, that's irritating me. You know? Everything was perfect. Like, what kind of a degenerate place is this where everything's perfect? Anyway, the room was spacious, right? Probably the most spacious room I've ever had in a hotel-like place. It was lovely. Again, the bathroom was spacious and wonderful. It had a bath and a shower. So then we opened the curtains, and it was like we were in the middle of the woods. Like, right in the middle of the woods. Trees right up next to the window. Tall trees right outside our room. Hedges in the middle distance and nature trails all over the place. Sculpted hills. Deeply landscaped nature trails all over the place. So now I'm thinking that we're in some sort of facility where highly paid AI engineers are sequestered away to make a realistic robot that's going to get us all killed, you know, in Act 3, like in Splice or Morgan or Ex Machina. You know, maybe the problem is that I watch too many movies. Or maybe we really are going to be killed by a weaponized fembot with a grudge, okay? So while I'm considering these options, this is something I'm actually thinking at the time. I'm not just making it up now. I actually thought all these things at the time. That we would be killed by some sort of rampaging fembot that I was probably supposed to be working on in a terrible mix-up where nobody explained the thing to me. That's what I was thinking, right? So I was thinking about all this, and Andrea was just sitting out on the deck with a glass of Coke and a small little cake she got from the canapes. Now, while she's sitting there, a little squirrel comes up to her and does a nose-twitchy thing that squirrels do, right? So now my brain is kicked into a new level of situational awareness, or, as Andrea calls it, paranoia. So we're definitely either inside a Disney movie or that squirrel is a robot. And I swear to God, I almost heard some sort of whirring inside his head. You know, like a camera changing focus behind one of his eyes. So we'll only know for sure if it bursts into song. It didn't burst into song. It ran up a tree when I tried to get closer to see if there was cameras behind his eyes. No one's allowed to smoke in Monart, so any comparison to the cult in the hit television show that no one knows about, The Leftovers, will be lost on most of you. But for everyone else who has seen season 1 of The Leftovers, it looks and feels just like the cult in The Leftovers, minus the smoking. People dressed in white robes, wandering around in silence in twos and threes, like appreciating nature or whatever, being like relaxed or whatever. I don't know, whatever the hell that means. But I was getting more and more worked up, right? When I saw this shit unfolding in front of me. So then Andrea realised she was just in time for a sauna class, right? They have a sauna class. They have a class here that tells you how to sauna. Before, the uneducated simpletons would just sit on the wooden benches in their swim gear pretending that some invisible benefit was accruing them from undergoing precisely the type of conditions that everyone would complain loudly about in any other context. Oh, but it's a dry heat. No. No, it's not. You know who I hate? You know who I hate? I hate the first guy to lean forward and ladle water onto the rocks. I hate that guy. He represents everything that's wrong with society. He had a feeling, he had an opinion, and he thought he'd fucking impose his impression of what a correct level of heat and humidity is on everyone else. And you know what's worse is when he turns around to everyone else and he mumbles like, oh, like nodding, like, is it okay if I fuck off? Now, you've put me, now, I'm the only sane person inside this dragon's mouth, and if I'm the only person to speak up and tell you to go fuck yourself, I'm the asshole. You've put me in a position where normal, sane reality makes me the asshole. And therefore you're the asshole. Asshole. Oh, I hate that guy. I don't know anything about him, but I hate him. I didn't go to the sauna, but that's my experience of saunas in general. I'm going to the sauna watching some guy ladle rocks. Forget that, man. Andrea came back early because the guy doing the class wasn't there. At this point, you know, I'm winding myself up the whole time. I realise this is me and not the place. I tentatively ask Andrea if she's feeling this incredible weight of pressure on her mind, the way everything is happening around us, at the advanced levels of disconnection and so on. And she said, and this is a direct quote because I wrote it down. She said, I kind of reject it, but not really. So, you can make whatever you want out of that. I kind of reject it, but not really. All the staff are amazing. There's no doubt whatever about that. There is no way to improve the behaviour or dialogue of any single one of them. And we dealt with loads of people. The checking girl was perfectly pitched. The guy who took her bags. Everybody. Everybody's just on point. Perfect. We went for a dinner that night. The menu was confusing to me. There were paragraph breaks and bolded words where I wasn't expecting to find them. And then in a little while the girl explained that this is a 7-course dinner. I've never had a 7-course dinner in my life. I'm not sure it's a valid concept. But there we go. It was going to be interesting, I guess, and it was. We had 2 or 3 different servers throughout the night, but there was a guy called Jason. And he looked and sounded just like a character from a Guy Ritchie movie. Okay? Like maybe he sensed that I was afraid he was going to kill me, because he started cracking jokes very early on. My beef. I got this beef thing. By the way, the best thing about being a vegetarian, and I have to tell all of you this, is you can eat meat whenever you want. That, for me, is the best thing about being a vegetarian. Anyway, my beef was perfectly cooked. It might have been the best beef that I've ever had. That's not an exaggeration. And I've been in restaurants in Paris and Los Angeles and whatever, and it was just wonderful. It was fantastic. But I couldn't finish it, you know, because I had 6 other courses inside me. So I asked him if I could just take it away with me, you know. So Jason said that no one asked him that before. So I was thinking, oh God. I told him the truth. I thought I might have betrayed my social class just by asking that question, you know. It is a bit, I don't know, can I take it away with me? So he went off and he came back a few minutes later and he said the chef said no for whatever reasons, you know. Then Jason said that he felt he let me down in what he referred to as, and again I quote, a Game of Thrones scenario. He said, I think I let you down. He says, this is like a Game of Thrones scenario. The people they have working for them are brilliant. Everyone on staff is intelligent, competent, observant, and somehow in the middle of all this they've been allowed to keep their own personality and senses of humour and so on. So someone in HR deserves a Nobel Prize. I'm exaggerating, but not much. Whatever they're doing to secure that high quality of staff must be tinged with genius. Andrea suggested it was more to do with paying people properly, and she's probably right, you know. So that night, going to sleep, right? Oh, so relaxed, let's go to sleep. I couldn't get any sleep. The whole thing was just weighing on me. It was deeply oppressive. I had waking visions of people coming to the room to kill me, like us, and even worse, to prevent us from leaving the next day using a variety of last-minute inducements, avuncular associates, or as a last resort, locking all the doors and windows. So I was thinking all this, right? I'd already, by the way, as soon as I arrived and as soon as the girl started talking to me, I had already planned my escape. there's a skylight access on the second floor mezzanine to the sauna. There's a skylight thing, and it's got a little lever on it. That's how we're going to get out. Now, all the scenes I witnessed during the day were crunching together in my mind. When we went to dinner, there was an old lady looking out the window of the bedrooms. She said, I don't like that window. She was pointing out a window through the window at one of the other windows, because everything's a curve. All the building is on curves, so everything kind of goes in on itself. And she's looking at a window across the curve, and she said, I don't like that window. And she said it. You know, she said it with authority, like she was some kind of professional window critic. And her daughters were with her, and they explained that the windows were attached to the walls, and there's not much anyone can do about it anyway. As a general principle, these things have solved the age-old problem of how are we going to see through this wall. They were kind of explaining that, not in those words, but basically like that. So she said it again. She said, I don't like that window. And we were just walking on to dinner because we felt it was, I guess, maybe marginally abusive if we just stood there and waited for the lady to keep talking. So we walked on, and we went too far away to hear the rest of it, you know. But even at the time, I remember thinking, these people are hired actors, and I could write better dialogue. Like, it's just, you don't like the window, big deal, like. But if they are hired actors, not real clients of this spa, of Monart, then how many other people are hired actors? And people did seem to be looking at us in a funny way. I had earlier assumed it was because we're obviously adorable, but maybe they're all on recon, compiling reports on how best to kill us / never let us leave. So I sat up. This is all going through my mind when everyone else is asleep. So I sat up suddenly in a fright because I thought I heard something. And then I saw a red dot sweeping across the wall, very much in the fashion of a sniper scope, right? So I got a big fright, and I woke up Andrea, and she said, turn on the light. And I said, you can't turn on the light, man. That's going to make it easier for them, you know. But she turned on her own light. And the red dot was a television on standby. And it looked like it was sweeping around because it was really dark, and I was moving my head around, and I wasn't thinking very clearly, so it looked like it was sweeping across. So Andrea then, it's her job to talk me off the ledge, right? So Andrea started by telling me that we've paid them for one night, and it would be really stupid to try to keep us any longer. And it would also be stupid to kill us if there was a risk we might come back and pay them more, which makes sense. But by the time I was finished presenting my case, Andrea was scared too. And she said, you have to stop telling me things, because then I won't be able to get to sleep, she said. So I just stopped. I stopped telling her things about the place that would stop her from getting a relaxing and de-stressing sleep. But the last thing she heard me saying in the dark was, you're the only one I trust. Which, as with everything I said, was true. At that point, she was the only person I trusted in the entire building. Although I guess that's maybe true for pretty much any building I'll ever be in. But this was concerning. Concerning, that's an American way of putting it. Sorry, this was a concern. So I made it to the morning without being relaxed once. Right? And we left. We were allowed go without incident. Andrea had a great time. We might be going back again next year. Should be fun. But this time, I will be ready. So that's that. Some of you may have noticed that the music is different. It used to be a clip of David Bowie's Speed of Life, and now it's something that my wife wrote and recorded herself. Not like you. It's pretty cool, right? She did that. So thanks for that. That's it. If you liked it, tell your friends. You didn't like it, tell everyone you know. I am out.
Not like you.